All right, good afternoon, you guys. Happy Friday to you guys. Hope you guys have a great weekend ahead. Take a breather, step back, enjoy your family, reset, refocus. Do whatever you got to do this weekend to get mindful, to get some joy in your mindset, in your mind, in your heart over the weekend, and whatever it is that makes you happy, go do it. Life is short. I think for the most part, everybody. I mean, this market's just been crazy all week long, and I'm surprised I survived it. Definitely a red week for me, but majority of my losses were recovered this today. We played ARDX. We scalped that. I'm still in ARDX right now, just so you guys know. I'm still watching that. Seems like it just wants to hang out at the 160 level, so I'm waiting for a big move on that. Whereas I'm still in SPI, I'm still in OCGM, Fubo, etc. I know, but I scaled out a lot of my positions. Scaling out simply means that I'm taking money out, but I didn't exit the position 100%. So going into the weekend, of course, I think it's very wise that if you're not particularly attached or along on some of these stocks that may be sitting in your portfolio, whether it be tech, etc., I think it's a good time to move things into cash at this point. Okay. Everyone was pretty much expecting, hey, we're going to get a December rally, small cap's going to go, and here we are. Just the nastiest dump I've seen in the last several months today so far. So let's hop into that. But I think the important thing here is that markets rotate. Okay, if you are newer to trading this year or maybe even last year, you're getting a sense of a normal market, if I can even say that word, meaning that prior to COVID, this is how normally the market behaves. There's going to be bull markets, there's going to be bear markets, and of course, the bear market is somewhat we're getting into that zone right now. So we'll see what happens. We'll look at the charts, but for the most part, this is what happens. All right, so we have to be prepared. Right, there will be good times and there will be bad times in your portfolio. If you're going to become a full-time trader, you have to just simply adjust and adapt. Right, so for today we won big, 100, almost 100% baba puts. Right, and I actually went really big on baba today, so that helped out a lot. And a lot of you guys are playing puts on Tesla and all that, and that's great. That's what we have to do as traders. We hedge our portfolio with puts or shorts when the market is deteriorating. Okay, and therefore it just kind of helps with the whole mindset of, oh my god, SPI is still down. So anyway, let's just hop into the charts and see what's going on. SPI, I'm still in. I just, here we are at, this is a another lower low we're looking at here on the charts. Unfortunately, yeah, there's that we broke that 418, 430 level this morning, and now we're down to about 418, and we even went down to 410 this morning. So looking pretty bad. It's just one of those stocks, man. I'm telling you that I know it's going to come back. I just don't know when. Okay, and I wish I can comfort you somehow and make you believe me, but I'm still hanging on to this OCGM, Fubo, etc. Lucid calls. Okay, let's take a look at Lucid for a moment here. All right, Lucid here. If I do a fib retracement, yeah, where we crossed the 0.382 retracement here. This looks like a little bit of double bottom bounce here. But is there going to be any weakness going into next week? I think so. Yeah. 43.15 could be an area at the 0.5 retracement where it can bounce. So we'll have to see. Now, if it breaks below that 43 points, I'm already down on my calls here, so I have to cut it, and then I'll just probably get $50 calls once again for May or etc. I'll reload. That's my point. Okay, but for now, we're just going to hang on to Lucid over the weekend, see what happens next week. Now, for the most part, next week it's going to be really interesting because it's looking really bearish right now. QQQ, the Qs have dropped below the moving average 50, and the point of control is really down here. Okay, so we've been here before. Just last October, if you remember, 2 months ago, we dipped below the point of control. We dipped below the volume shelf, etc. And this is where it gets really nasty around the markets. And then the tech just comes roaring back, right? So I think there will be opportunities next week in tech. If you're long on AMD, Nvidia, if you believe in companies like Apple and Amazon, I think they will be fine once we get over this hump. All right. What I like to see going into next week is that the Qs regain the moving average 50 and also the 34 here. If it can kind of hang out around this area, I think you'll see more positive sentiments on Monday. But if the Qs go below this line here, let's just say, around 377, where there was where the prior support is, then you're going to see probably 372s. So therefore, if we see that happening, then yeah, we have to go buy puts on everything. Okay. So I don't want you guys to worry that your portfolio is down. We just got to have a good game plan going into next week. So let's take a look at going into SPY next week as well. SPY, again, breaking below the moving average 50. We see that back in October, we danced around the moving average, not the moving average 200, but we crossed down into the volume shelf here, and then it picked back up. These are normal things that's got to occur every time there's going to be a new high. There's got to be a higher low. All right. So we'll see what happens going into next week. So if we see that SPY and QQQ is weak next week, yeah, it may bounce intraday, etc. But puts are going to be, I think, more safe than calls going into next week. Now, in my style of trading, if you guys are brand into the group, my style of trading is that I just trade as much as I can with 95% of my portfolio, and I keep some long swings in there. But for the most part, I'm going to be pretty busy next week flipping calls and puts. That's going to be the strategy. I'm not picking up any swings next week unless there's something that comes up where it's like that warrants us buying shares or buying commons. All right, so. Let's see what else I got on deck here. Not much here. Okay, so let's talk about going into next week. So number one, Baba is going to still be on my puts list here. Okay, I'm sure we'll see a little bit of bounce Monday morning, and then if it gets really heated on Monday pre-market, then you guys know that Monday morning after the bell, things are going to dump again. All right. So I'm going to go to the daily chart for Baba here, and I'm going to go to the weekly chart because back to, I think, right about here. Okay. So we're back to what? Literally 3 years ago, levels from April 2017. This is crazy dip that Baba is experiencing. We got a nice catch on this down to 109 this morning. I do think that Baba still has more room to go here, and I think the next support really is around the $90 area. So this can print very well if it goes our way on Monday, all right, or going into next week. So I will be watching Baba. And of course, Disney, I believe, is oversold. Don't you guys think so? I mean, Disney is now back down to nearly the prior resistance and is acting as support right around this area with the 142 level. If it dips, then I think we could see 130 or mid 130s because you know how there's a shelf right here. The moving average 200 is right about 135. I do believe that things are going to test the moving average 200s. All right, so this is another good put opportunity as well for Disney. Next Thursday is Lulu earnings. Okay, now I'm particularly biased about Lulu. All right, because I don't like their product, I don't like their clothes, I don't like the prices they charge, but my daughters love it. I don't get it. So this is a great opportunity for me to put this stock down. All right, so we know that's breaking below moving average 8, moving average 21 is 420, et cetera, et cetera. All right. I expect they also have global supply issues. I also expect that possibly their holiday sales are down year over year. That's my expectation. So I'm going to say probably 400 Lulu next week after earnings Thursday afternoon. All right. If you look at Lulu, it is ridiculous. They sell shorts. All right. Again, I'm very biased about Lulu, so forgive me. But this thing needs to calm down a little bit. Let's just do an auto fib retracement and see what we're working with here. I would say, yeah, 0.382 would be a nice retracement. All right, possibly a 30-point drop, but this might even be a good put opportunity in general next week. All right, for Lulu. Okay, Apple. We played calls today, and I had a plan that it was going to bounce at the 162 level, and it didn't. Okay, so we're back down to 159, so I had to cut those calls real quick. All right, so I was in it very briefly, and I said, nope, this ain't the market for it. So where can we see? So you can see that Apple currently at the time of this recording is headed for 159.19.786 retracement. All right. And possibly 0.618 as well. Again, I think Apple is particularly strong overall this week. However, it's definitely given up at this point on this Friday afternoon. So another great put opportunity if the market goes that way. If the markets bounce on Monday, certainly we could play the 162, 165 calls. So again, next week, I'm going to be busy flipping calls and puts throughout the day, or at least most part of the morning. Okay, during the mid morning is where things get sideways, and then at power hour we'll play some calls. Right, that seems like a good game plan for next week. Apple. All right, so that's one. Let's talk about TDoc. Is on my list. You'll notice if you guys are okay, if you have a smaller account. All right, I understand that you're not able to play some of the high growth or high cost premiums. Okay. But you might want to play some lower ones like Baba, AMD, Apple. They're affordable. Okay. Even if you have a smaller account, because I'm not swinging anything in this market. So if you are looking for me to go buy shares of a new short squeeze, forget about it. I'm not even thinking about it right now. Probably not until 2 weeks from now, because I'm just into scalping the options. Because why? The markets are completely chopped. Okay. It's completely ridiculous the way that it's acting today. But anyway, so if you don't know options, feel free this weekend to YouTube basic options videos for dummies or beginners. There's plenty out there, and take the time to learn what's a call, what's a put, what's a strike, what's a theta, what alpha, not alpha, Greek, the Greeks, Vega, okay, and all that, the gamma. These things are going to help you tremendously. Even if you have a small account, you can still grow your account in this market. Okay. So don't get stuck on this mindset that you have to buy shares. You have to be a bull to make money. Anyway, let's talk about TDoc. Okay. So this is on my short list for, it's one of those COVID stocks that ran to ungodly amounts. I mean, $300, and it's been on a downtrend ever since. This is on a very steep correction. I do see that TDoc can hit, let's see, right about, so we're back to what, pre-pandemic levels, right about pandemic levels. January 2020 is right about here. There's some support. I would say that TDoc needs to die. Okay. There's no reason why this company should be even at $300 and $100 level. If the markets continue to be weak, then we can see TDoc the point right here, 75.98, 2.236 retracement. All right, that's a heavy retracement, mind you. However, we'll see what happens. Yeah, TDoc is one that has to go away. It's very similar to Peton. It's very similar to all Zoom, etc. All these stocks that ran their pandemic, you're seeing steep corrections from their pandemic levels, all right, or March 2020 levels. Okay. Last one is, I did mention Roku a couple of weeks ago that it could test 200s, and it did. All right. So it hit right below 200 today. Very weak here. 189 would be a target for me here for a short next week. It's back to what, October, November 2020 levels. All right. If we continue going down, where was the last support? It's about 177. 177, 189 would be a good target for going into next week. All right. So with that being said, Disney, Lulu, Baba, we just said Disney, Apple, TDoc, Roku, and of course, I will be playing with Amazon. All right, because the point moves in Amazon is absolutely worth it. But go small. Okay, if you have a smaller account, just play one call, one put. All right, don't get crazy with me. All right, it's moving down now, 33,612, the moving average 200. I mentioned this in our mastermind group yesterday that that potentially was going to break that 3,400 level today, and it did. Right, so you can see this up. Trend line support here on the 4-hour chart, and it absolutely broke it, crushed it. All right, so the next volume shelf is really down at 3,300, 3,312. If it can actually even pick up any steam down there. If not, then we're looking at potentially right here would be about 32.30. So there is a good opportunity here. I would love for Amanda to run. All right, trust me, but it's looking very, very weak today. Full bearish engulfing candle approaching here the moving average 200. If that breaks, then we're looking at potentially, 3,300 obviously below. But I would say this would be a bounce area potentially here at 32.77. So great opportunity for going bearish next week. If things pump, if things become bullish all of a sudden, then hey, great, we'll play calls. All right, we'll get into some more swings potentially. All right, but going into Monday, yeah, I do expect at least pre-market to be pretty hot. Okay, things recovering. All right, but if they don't, but if at the bell, if everything starts dumping again, then we know what to do. I will line up the puts and the calls for Monday morning. All right. So once again, just to summarize, Disney, Lulu, Baba, Apple, T-Doc, Roku, Amazon, all right, is on my watch list for going into next week. As far as like ARDX goes, at the time of this recording, I'm still holding shares. I do believe this thing's going to blast off. Okay. It's holding exceptionally well in this market. So there's a lot of bulls on this, keeping the bids up here. So I do like ARDX going, possibly hanging on to some shares going into next week. It's just it's an interesting one to find and scalp off of. All right. So with that being said, from my beginning of this message, guys, take a breather over the weekend. Forget about the stocks for 2 days. All right. Enjoy your family. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. Enjoy your blessings and every day that we have on God's green earth. Okay. All right. So with that being said,